Oh man, hey gang, it's Wednesday. It's after work time, but more importantly, as we all know, it's hump day. That means it's happy hour for the dinks. So welcome to Dennis in the Know. It's your backstage pass to current trends, politics, and education in the dental world. It is live and it's over a cocktail. So welcome to Dennis in the Know. I'm Dr. Jeff Horowitz. My co-hosts are these wonderful people next to me. To my left, Dr. Jennifer Bell. To my right, Dr. Chad Duplantis. I hope it's that way on all your computers as well. We are all practicing dentists. We're all educators. We are all business owners. And our job is to bring all of you in the know. So, guys, how has your week been?
JB, always ladies first.
Okay. So it's been an interesting couple of days.
So you're not going to let Chad go?
Wow.
Oh,
wow. It's already getting deep. JB,
Yeah.
That's how it started.
carry on,
It's
please.
So on Saturday, I hosted. First off, I went to Charleston on Friday for the AGD pre-caucus. So I was down there. We're starting to work through a bunch of the governance stuff that's coming up. Some of it's very uncomfortable, and I'm kind of jazzed and excited about it. It's fun to talk about some change, which I think all organizations are needing right now in the midst of COVID and other things. So that was a good time working through some of those resolutions. Saturday, I hosted with my neighbor 30 soon-to-be teenagers. My son turns 13 this week.
Right.
And so we hosted his friends, boys and girls, at a joint party here at our house. And they had a good time, I think. I don't know. Teenagers are very difficult to read. We didn't lose anyone. We felt really good about that. Didn't find anyone in a closet. Also,
no police, no complaints, none
that we knew of.
No angry other parents.
None that
yeah. It's a win.
I feel really good about it.
It's a win.
It's a big accomplishment.
That's a win.
There was one point where they all, like, our kids are very used to roaming our neighborhood pretty free, and they go to the pond and fish and do whatever. So at one point, all the kids had left. And I looked at my friend Lori, who we were hosting the party, and I was like, I don't even know who's supposed to be here. So when we say, hey guys, you got to come back, how do we really know if they're all here? I don't know. Anyway, a few of those moments as a parent where you're like, are we doing a good job? Are we really doing a good job? But everybody had a good time. Then the boys stayed over at my house. A few of them stayed up till 4:30 in the morning.
Nice.
Doing whatever it is that boys do, and then fed them breakfast.
You don't want to know that.
I don't. No. We're going to leave it right downstairs in the basement. And then, back to work on Monday. And today I actually had the day off, which is very rare. I was supposed to be at the GP Summit for the Align Ad Board's last GP. I'm on the GP Ad Board for Align. And I was supposed to be in Vegas for their GP Summit for our last meeting for the Ad Board. But it got canceled because a lot of people were having travel restrictions with COVID and some other things. So it just didn't have enough momentum. So I ended up just taking this day. My kids actually had the day off from school. So we spent it together. We went to a family farm and did a bunch of fall festival kind of stuff and really had a great day. So
Nice.
No complaints.
That sounds ideal, doesn't it, Chad?
Sounds like a lot of fun.
I bet y'all got a lot of spit in your face today.
Did you, Chad?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
This I didn't have as eventful a weekend as Jennifer did. I didn't have to deal with 13-year-olds, but I did do something that was absolutely amazing. Okay, y'all ready for this?
Do it.
Want to hear it?
First time in 6 years, I went and played golf on a course. So like
Nice.
August, I went and I bought clubs again. I used to play all the time. And I was really excited. And the guy goes, the clubs you won't be in until October. I said, dude, this interest is going to wane by October. I need clubs today. So find me something that's in the store that I can walk out with today. So we did. I went and I practiced every weekend. And I finally felt that I was ready to go to the course. I went and I did not lose but 2 golf balls. I broke 100. I hit 1 house, and that was on my first tee shot. They gave me a breakfast ball, and the day was great. So I'm going back out this Friday.
What'd you shoot on the back 9 though?
Actually, the back 9 was worse than the front 9. It was a 46, 43. I shot a 99.
Oh, you said you broke 100. I thought that was on the front 9.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Specifics are
important. You got to be specific.
Yeah. 43, 46. I'm sorry. So it was fantastic, awesome day. Had a good time. Ready to do it again. Kind of reinvigorated by golf. And
you going to Q school now?
That was my plan when I thought I was disabled several years ago. I was going to become a golf teaching professional, but I found out that my hand was going to work again. So I actually had to go back to dentistry, and the rest is history. But anyhow, how was your week, Jeff?
I love it. Actually, great week. I am parentless at the house.
Ooh.
Meaning that my dad is now at home. My mom is now at home. We are down to my wife, my dog, unfortunately still the pig.
The pig.
But the other dog is gone now too. And my oldest son, who came home from Chicago to visit kind of last minute. Luke came home. And it was really interesting conversation with him. So it's been amazing having some of that cool time with Luke. And for those of you who don't know, he actually he works on movie sets. He works with a prop master. So we've had a lot of interesting conversation about the week's events and basically how that really just should never have happened, that it's almost next to impossible. But I
can't wait to hear the results of that investigation, because that's going to be so.
I mean, it's obviously very sad, no matter what side of it you're on. But it's made for really interesting conversation. I was waiting to hear if you still had that fat pig. Anyone who refers to my wife in that manner again is kicked out of Dinks. I'm just saying that. I'm not going to put up with that. I'm going to stand up for my woman, at least while I'm online.
That deserves an encore. That was awesome. That's like the best comment ever.
Bravo, everyone.
Oh my gosh.
The best comment ever. That might stay up for a while.
Yeah.
Are you going to dress up like that for Halloween? You could be the pig for Halloween.
Yeah. Well,
that's funny.
But anyway, no, it's been a pretty good week. Things are moving along. Got to spend some time with my oldest son, and who's been away from home, for quite some time now. So it's great to have him back. And otherwise, life is good. So I think we should maybe talk about our guest. What do you think?
Let's do it. Let's talk about our guest.
Well, first,
let's hear some news.
What are you guys drinking tonight, by the way?
So oh, we will miss you. What do you got, Chatty?
My favorite, it's Everyday Napa. Everyday Napa. It's awesome. It's cheap and it's good.
So we just got our shipment in from Figgings Winery, which is associated with Leonetti.
Excuse me, we got our shipment in.
Look, Jeff knows. He and I can chat for a second.
Yes, we can.
And they have a really nice dry Riesling. Like, it's not super, it looks really buttery. If you look at it, you would think, oh, is that a Chard? Is it kind of buttery? But it's actually really dry, more like a Sauvignon, which is kind of the wine that I would prefer. So I'm having my first bottle of the Figgins Riesling, and it is
very nice. I mean, I would have thought it was a Chardonnay.
I know, it's super yellow.
Yeah.
But
very cool looking. Yeah, I'm just
a glass of Figgins urine.
Yeah.
It does look like urine. Little.
Now you're out. Just a little Josh Pinot Noir tonight. Nothing too special. Just a little everyday Pinot. Yeah. But very happy to do it. So, guys, I do want to cheers to all you out there. Cheers to all the dinks. So I have a question for everyone out there, though. who doesn't want to be better, richer, or stronger? I think all of you do, right? Right?
Yeah.
I love rhetorical questions. Well, our guest tonight can help all of you do just that. He's an author. He's a business coach. He's a dentist. Most importantly, he's a fellow dink. And you've never seen such a doctor. He's a very sought after doctor. Very, very prominent man. No, just an amazing guy. It's really an honor. Yeah, he's a real mensch. I love it. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a real honor to get to know Dr. Alan Stern, and he's a great friend. He's a great dentist, and he just has so many great insights on dentistry and on life, really. So we're excited to have him. But before we bring Alan on, JB, do you have some news for us?
Always. What would it be a show if I didn't have some news?
Well, especially after you went to the caucus.
I know. I got to tell you.
I love that word.
I'm not going to say it. So I'm in.
Don't pay him no mind.
I'm in the office in our house, and I don't use this most days. Brian operates almost exclusively down here because he's been work from home since March of 2020, and he's gone in a few times, but this is pretty much where he works. Well, he decided to get one of those glass mats that you put under your chair. I don't know if you've seen this, but you can do a glass chair mat underneath. It's literally like rolling on ice. So if you see me like shoot off in one direction or another, I'm having to put my feet down for brakes.
So it's mirrored?
No, it's glass.
Okay.
Like you can
I didn't know if it was mirrored. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
That's a lot. It is so like I'm having to hold my chair steady because it's so slick. Anyway, so if you see me slide off, that's the news from the Bell household today. I thought you should know. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things. First off, there was a ruling that came out recently. Well, it wasn't really a ruling. It was from HIPAA, the office that sort of manages all that. And they put out really a statement to help the public, business owners, healthcare providers, et cetera, kind of understand how vaccination status really isn't included in HIPAA. So nice. So basically, it is within everyone's right to ask for vaccination status because unless you yourself are a protected healthcare entity who falls under HIPAA compliance, you can do whatever you want. So a restaurant can ask your vaccination status. A gym can ask it. No big deal. There is some issue when coming into a dental office, and we certainly can't disclose other patients' vaccination status to anybody else. And then it comes down to employees and employers and can you request their vaccination status? It continues to be a little bit of a gray area because of anti-discrimination laws that are supposed to protect if you have a religious exemption or a medical exemption. So I would just encourage you continue to read. I'll post the link for that recent document that they put out providing some guidance. Of course, it's like any federal document. It's incredibly difficult to read, and it's got a lot of complex language that makes it very... We're just going to keep reposting it. It just doesn't get old, though. So in fairness. So I'll put that up as well. Good luck trying to decipher what it really means, but we'll put that up for you. And any questions, boys? Okay.
It's a big fat pig rule right there.
Yeah. I wanted to loop everybody in on the EIDL loans. Remember we talked a little bit about that back. Oh my gosh, it's been quite a long time. It's the economic injury disaster loan, which we discussed.
Who wrote that?
I appreciate that very much. Whoever said that. So the EIDL loan, I think it's worth re-mentioning again. Boys, this is really important. Listen.
Okay,
EIDL loan.
Listen.
Idle as
believe
EIDL.
as best I can understand, you can go back to the well again. There's more money there. You can probably get easily $15,000, no repayment required from Idle if you wanted to apply for that. That's just a temporary allotment. And then they're actually offering loans up to $2 million. And I've known several small businesses that have access to this loan repayment. It's a fixed loan, 3.75% interest for 30 years. So if you need money, I'm not like, I feel like some late night sleazy guy selling you an air fryer and a loan, right? So if you need money, you should apply for this. All I'm saying is it seems like there's an opportunity for businesses to have access to these SBA loans at a very low percentage, at a very long term, that might help alleviate some of the pressures and burdens of capital expenses for folks.
So what you're saying is this is American Idol.
Basically. But you do have to repay this one back.
Nothing? Not crickets? That was so clever.
Is it? Oh,
I can't believe no one got that. That was so clever.
it is. It is.
God.
Sorry.
So, hey, real quick, in all seriousness, though, the one thing that I would like to say, because I did look into the Idol at the beginning of this is actually serious coming from me. So all of you that called me ridiculous, listen now. The Idol was ridiculously stupid when it came back to stipulations for paying it back. And so yes, great terms, but be leery and be careful of what you're getting into, and make sure you read everything and probably get the advice of an attorney or some sort of financial professional.
I agree.
Definitely. And the thing we found, so we just went ahead and applied for a lot of stuff when all of this had come out.
Yeah.
And initially it was really a very small amount for like my satellite practice and for the sleep and breathing practice, but it did pay off. And we were able to get a larger amount for my main practice, which was worth it. But what did you say the interest rate was again now? And
3.75 fixed.
And up to a limit of
2 million.
Yeah. See, I mean, we didn't get numbers like that proposed to us at all at the beginning. So maybe worth a look at.
I believe as a partnership, you have to apply under one of the partners, because we actually got declined the first time because we applied under the partnership. And Jeff, you're laughing at. Yeah. So anyways, I'll let everybody see that. But thank you, Sarah. Thank you. So you have to be careful as to how you apply, because they need to tie it to a social security number or an individual EIN. It was very confusing. And I felt in my practice, it was a blessing that we got declined the first time. And it was only because of the way that I applied. In the end, it all worked out, but just be careful when you apply and know what you're getting into.
Well, and it looks like there's an advance, which is the $15,000, which somebody also commented about. And I think that's going to work very similar to the $10,000 one that was offered a while back, or $50,000. I can't remember now. And then there's the loan. So it looks like there's two separate things happening. There is an advance opportunity, and I think that's a fairly simplistic process. And it should be 100% forgiven. And then there is a loan process. So if you're in a situation and your practice hasn't bounced back yet, or you want to consider a capital investment, it may be worth looking at it, at least to consider if this is a good option for you. So I just wanted to,
Jennifer, I've got to get on a soapbox for a second and say, one of the things that imagine that. One of the things that all three of us talk about is the common thread among so many successful practices that we see. And one of the reasons that we feel we've all been able to be successful in dental practice is because all three of us have never been afraid to invest in technology.
Right.
There are some, and we are by trade a very conservative group of people. Dentists are. And, you know, there's a lot of people who will just sit there and overcrunch the numbers, and just always be afraid to make that move. But to have that kind of capital available at that kind of a rate, I'd absolutely start thinking about the technologies that can add, you know, new sources of revenue to your practice.
Absolutely. All right. So I think two other additional, and we'll do the one. These are both fairly controversial, I think, in light of everything. But it looks like the vaccines are going to get approval for 5 through 11 years old. Although they're approving it, it sounds like at a lower dose. So I think they're going to do a pediatric dose versus the adult dose. There just isn't a lot of data, guys. We can get on all kinds of soapboxes about this particular thing. But I think that there is a fair amount coming out in the news as well, that there seems to be a big question mark on the 5 to 11 age group. A lot of people, I think, are ready and excited to move forward with that so that life maybe can return back to normal for their family or to protect those who are immune compromised. So I think the final ruling comes out tomorrow. So we'll continue to watch that. The other thing that oh, that's really helpful. The other
That's
thing,
true. That I read that as well.
Yeah, that's really helpful. The other thing that was an interesting discussion that we had on our group chat this week was the ethics statement sent out by the ADA. And I appreciate, number one, that we had a really nice discourse about it. You know, we always worry about these sort of hot button issues. And if we'll get, you know, into a heavy discussion online that might make it uncomfortable for people to participate. And I thought everybody actually did a fantastic job expressing their viewpoints and opinions and staying kind of respective within their lane. So that was really great. I do think if you look at the majority of the statement was fairly benign, and I think most of us would agree. None of us would discriminate against patients coming in who are vaccinated or unvaccinated. It does seem a little bit late at this point to be suggesting strategies on how we manage the vaccinated and unvaccinated. I mean, frankly, we've been working in, I don't know, from our organization, who should have a very good pulse of what dentists have been doing for the last 24 months. I don't need strategies at this point on how to deal with the vaccinated and the unvaccinated in my practice. We've been treating patients non-vaccinated for a solid 12 months and slowly vaccinated over the last additional 12 months. And we've managed to create strategies in our practice that are working just fine. So again, I put this in the category of ocean, some of these other things, like super late to the party. Thanks for the input, but we've all been kind of trucking along and doing our thing just fine.
Right.
And you know, anytime the ADA puts a statement out, you always have to be concerned that the lobbyists and the representatives that have been voted into both state and federal offices are watching for those statements to come out, which could lend themselves towards additional mandates. And, you know, I was with a group of dentists this weekend, and we kind of represent a wide geography of folks. And a good number of them said that if they had a vaccine mandate, it would directly affect their practice. The majority of folks at that meeting were vaccinated. But I think they all recognize they probably have staff members in some percentage that were not, or, you know, it seemed like it would still be a pretty significant burden for a lot of practices trying to maintain staff. So all things that we continue to monitor and watch and you know, understand how its impact will directly reflect on our profession. So
yeah, good stuff. Thank you, JB.
You're welcome.
You the bomb, as always.
JB, you like all kidding aside, you every week you just bring it. So
yes,
thank you.
I'm not gonna let you down, Chad and Jeff. I'm not.
You know what though? I mean, I just don't know how you have so many hours in the day. And you know, I think we make a good team.
I think so. It's the sailor and his stew. Are we the Scrubs?
All right.
Gilligan, the skipper, too.
Let's bring on our
Millionaire
guest
and his
because
bride.
I fear he may have fallen asleep because we left him down there so long. Chad, will you introduce our guest?
Man, I would love to. So we decided several weeks ago that we were going to start a series, and so really this is part 1 of the series, and we're going to call it the Nice Guys of Dentistry. And of course, that refers to like nice guys and gals because there's a ton of both, and we're going to add a bunch of people to it. But dentistry can be so catty and so rude, and there's just some people out there that just bring a lot of light and a lot of energy to dentistry, and this happens to be one of them. Although I have not shaken his hand, I consider Dr. Stern a friend of mine. He runs a Facebook group called Better, Richer, Stronger, which is also the name of his coaching business. He's a practicing dentist. He's out of, I believe, Jersey, right?
Yep.
Northern Jersey?
No, central New Jersey on the shore, where rudeness is a way of life, and we are the land of the free and the home of the bribe.
Man, that's a whole newfound respect. No, I'm just so honored to have you here.
Thank you.
And we're going to open it up. Jeff, I know you had some questions. I have some questions. JB has some questions. But Alan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, what am I going to tell you? I graduated dental school 40 years ago, May 16th, 1981. And went through GPR, worked for somebody for 5 years, and then opened my own practice, dead cold, in a saturated area in 1987. And I'm still standing. The really cool thing and what's really shaped me are the very serious blunders, business and financial, that I made throughout my life. And they were serious. And in my mid-50s, it really looked, and Jeff, you'd appreciate this, retirement to me looked like getting up out of the dumpster behind my office, dusting myself off, right? Doing a couple of crown preps and just diving back in and settling in for the night. And it's really pretty remarkable how resilient you could be. And it's pretty remarkable how when the student is ready, the teacher appears, the right people appeared in my life, because nobody gets there alone, nobody. And all of a sudden, here I am, and I'm good. I'm good. I'm married for 44 years. We talked before. I met my wife 48 years ago today.
And I'm just going to tell everyone out there that he cannot share that story on here. But if you ever meet Alan in person,
it's so worth
please
it.
Make sure you ask him the story about how he and his wife met.
And it's really one of the very few things our kids think that's cool about mom and dad.
It has to be at least one.
I don't agree with that for a second.
Well, thank you very much. I'll give you their phone numbers. And the other really cool thing is that Fran and I, in our mid-50s, realized that we were, shall we say, a little bit out of shape. And we really busted it. And we are in the best physical conditions of our lives in our mid-60s. And we're getting better. 2 years ago, I held a plank for 10.5 minutes.
That's awesome,
and,
man.
That's because I'm boring, but I got very strong. I have nothing better to do but lie there still and be quiet. But it really was quite an achievement. And I'm looking for more. So one of the things I want to convey to everybody, with the right attitude and the right vision and focus, you can accomplish whatever the heck you want. And
so
dentistry
Alan,
offers, what's that, Jeff?
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, please.
Dentistry offers us the opportunity to do it in so many ways, and there is no one right way. Whatever part of alphabet soup you're in, FFS, PPO, HMO, AACD, whatever it is, you practice to yourself. You practice to be better tomorrow than you are today. I can't be Chad or Jen or Jeff, and thank God you can't be me. You can't be anything other than yourself. And the really cool thing about dentistry is that there's so many ways to express yourself. And it's a great thing. Once you figure it out, it's really cool.
Paul Goodman wants to know if you can help him dunk a basketball.
Sure, because I'm strong enough to hold him up high enough to reach the 10-foot basket.
He's got the same syndrome that I do. Paul does, which is, well, I'm not going to say it, but we have enough going against us that ain't going to happen.
Frustrated basketball player?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I was there. I was there.
Yeah.
So what got you into coaching? I mean, you do this for years and you practice, and do you just get to a point where you realize, hey, I think that I've got some pearls that might help a practice along, or was it something else? I mean,
That's a great question, Chad, and I really appreciate it. You know what? In my early 50s, I kind of bottomed out. And I really thought the world was coming to an end. I had this disease, and I think I've talked to some of you about it, PMD, perpetually miserable dentist. Yeah. And, it was all about everything I wasn't and everything I didn't have. And when I rebounded from back and realized that life is pretty darn good, I've spoken, over the last 40 years, I don't know how many hundreds of dentists I've spoken to just in conversation. I realized we all have the same things. We all suffer from this comparison syndrome. We all suffer from this perfection syndrome. And now my computer says my battery's running low. And how could that be? Because it's plugged in. Who knows? I'm getting PMD myself. But when I listened to enough of this and I started listening to myself, I realized that my rebound, my resurgence, my better, richer, stronger is so applicable. And so many people in and out of dentistry need to hear this. It was on a run on the boardwalk in Belmar, right near my home. I just kind of looked out at the ocean one day and I realized no matter how much or how little I have more than most people could ever dream of having in their life. And I have less than some. Yeah, so what? And it's not that I can't do what some of the technical giants of our profession do, and that makes me garbage. No, that's not true. It just makes me better for having heard them. And I'm married, 44 years. And I've given her 5 of the best years of my life in that marriage, too. I want you to know, I'm an overachiever, for God's sake. And we have 2 wonderful children and a great circle of friends. And once you realize that no matter what kind of nonsense you might run into on any given day in the office or out of the office, life is pretty darn good. So when we embrace what we are, when we forget, when we understand that we don't know what price the other guy has paid to get to where they've been, and we don't even know if we're willing or able to pay that, but we practice to our own peace of mind. I told you before, the Constitution guarantees us 3 rights, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of a Tesla. No, wait a minute. That's not right. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And damn, we can pursue that in dentistry. So I realized that I had a message, and people were listening, and people need to hear it. And the more docs I speak to, and the more hygienists and assistants and admins that I speak to, the more I realize that success in dentistry is mission-based, it's vision-based, it's based on your own sense of what dentistry should accomplish for people and what you want to do with this very powerful degree that you have. And when you define that, when you envision it and put it into place, you're golden.
So, Alan, one of the things that you like to talk about are some of the
beautiful
mistakes.
Words, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Chad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. One of the things you like to talk about are some of the mistakes that dentists make. And I think this is part of what you're alluding to now is, in the comparison syndrome and in trying to be what someone else thinks you should be. But what are some of the other mistakes that you see along the way?
You know, one of the things that gets to all of us, look, getting into dental school is competitive. It was extremely competitive when I was going, and it's gotten even more competitive as time has gone on. So what
Alan,
happened?
I couldn't get in right now. I don't think I could.
I couldn't either.
Yeah.
I couldn't either. But we spend our high school and college years looking over our shoulders, right? And we said, "Oh, geez, Duplantis has a 95 average, and I only got a 94."
That's about right.
Yeah.
I believe yours was an 89, but
yeah,
I'm not going to.
You're blowing his head up right
now. So you start to worry, am I going to get into school? Duplantis has a 1 point higher GPA than I do. Oh my God.
Right.
And it carries into dental school. We kind of forget that we've gotten there. And so we're looking, oh my God, I want to be a periodontist. I want to be an endodontist. Holy smoke. Duplantis got an A+ on the last practical. Oh no, I'm sunk. And dental school is a tough environment. And Paul and I have talked about this. I feel that dental school instructors are just regular guys like us, plotting their way through the world as best they can. But the culture and the subliminal message that's given to us is you got to be perfect or you're not any good. And I most of it is not by intent. I give people the benefit of the doubt, but that I'm a susceptible person. My background, I have a very thin skin, and I've had to overcome a lot of obstacles emotionally, and I did. But coming out of dental school, I was battered. So we come out with this thing that, oh, Duplantis has 8,000 patients of record, and I only have 7,998. Oh my goodness. And Horowitz drives a bigger Tesla than I do. Oh no. And look at Chad's beautiful cases. I can't do that. I'm garbage. We start comparing and we start expecting that we need to be perfect, and we get down on ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it's so needless. It's all over the place. We have no idea how blessed we are to have come through this and to carry ourselves, the four of us, with a certain degree of comfort in our own skin, knowing who we are. You guys practice an incredible level of dentistry, but more importantly, you do it happily, and you do it with a sense of fulfillment. It took me a while to get that, but I practice dentistry happily. And I focus now, you know, and redirect me if I'm getting too far off base, but in our morning meeting, we read our mission statement. We ask the questions, whose life did we make better yesterday? And whose life are we going to make better today?
I love that.
And sometimes it's not even with our handpieces. Sometimes it's with our words. You know, we do sacred work, and so I realized that from rock bottom, or my version of rock bottom. I stopped comparing. I look to you, Jen and Jeff and Chad. I look to you with tremendous respect and joy for you, because you're practicing awesome and you're loving every minute of it. It's great.
Well, Alan, you know, what we try to do here is we also try to bring a sense of reality. So, you know, it's not about, you know, half the time we talk about not how great our practices are, but the failures that we've had.
It's mostly me.
Last week. Yeah.
It's mostly me.
Oh, baloney.
It's all of us, because that's the reality. If we try to, you know, think that there's a practice out there where everything goes beautifully, all the case presentations are successful, all the cases are converted to active treatment, all the patients always come back, they're always happy. It doesn't exist in dentistry.
It doesn't exist anywhere.
Ourselves. Yeah.
It doesn't exist anywhere. A couple of basic Alanism. Number one, show me a person without stress and I'll show you a cadaver.
Yeah, pretty much.
Show me a person with the perfect practice with 100% success rate, 100% collections, and when his car runs out of gas, he's got to throw it away and get another one. I'll show you a liar.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it's why we bring people like you on to say, look, it's okay to feel these things, but all of us out there are fighting the same exact battle, right? In our not just with our patients, but in our own minds.
Yes, and it's that battle that's really important. And one of the things I'll be doing. May I tell you about what I'm going to be doing on Better, Richer, Stronger?
Please do.
Of course.
November is Men's Health Month, and with all due respect to Jen,
I know men in my life.
You do?
And I support their health.
They're very good. So this is for men and for people who have men in their lives that they care for. I'm having Frank King on in a couple of weeks. Saturday.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah. I saw Frank out down Florida a couple of weeks ago. And I think our women colleagues have tremendous outlets and tremendous support networks for the stresses they're under. And they're under, motherhood and the things that make women's roles in life unique and remarkable can also be stressors to women who are professionals. And that is absolutely valid. But men have their own stuff too. And it's time that men start to realize that talking about this stuff is okay. I don't want my issues or your issues to define you. I want them to challenge you. But I want you to take those challenges out there and take a baseball bat to them and just address them head on. Frank is the mental health comedian. He's a suicide survivor. His famous tagline is he could even remember what the barrel of his gun tasted like. God forbid he'd have done that. And Frank turns it into poignant comedy. And we are faced with depression and suicide in dentistry, second only pre-COVID to police officers and soldiers. So we're going to start working on men's health issues, and we're going to start with mental health. Because I'll tell you quite frankly, my friends, that I didn't get here alone. I used a world-class therapist, and my story's in my book. The late, great Dr. Arnold Lazarus helped me put everything in perspective. And to him, I owe a debt of gratitude that I can never pay back. And I've learned to see things as they are, and I've overcome my PMD, my perpetually miserable dentist, and I make a daggone joke about it. Because it is kind of funny that we kind of take things out of perspective. And the world is coming to an end because a patient leaves our office. And that's so untrue. Chad, you're practicing for decades. We're all practicing for decades. And we've all had stupid stuff happen to us. The margin is short. The root canal is long. The bridge fails. The implant fails. And by the way, Jen, that is one F word that I don't allow here in New Jersey. The other F words are okay, but
I was going to say that's just a part of normal vernacular.
Yeah, that's right.
After the show, I'll show you the New Jersey salute.
We can do that.
Yeah.
The coolest thing, a patient once came up to me and said, Alan, don't think of yourself as a failure. Just see yourself as a bad example. That was a high point of my life.
That was a good day.
That was an excellent day. Yes, indeed.
So I would like to kind of dive into that a little bit about community and fellowship a little bit and its importance, because until I was in the industry, I don't think I really appreciated how much of an island a lot of dentists really operate on. They can be kind of collegial and professional with their team, but they really can't be friends. Like there's that boss-employee relationship that has to be somewhat managed. Then finding time to be in community with other dentists, and then getting actually deep in enough that you feel comfortable being vulnerable and expressing challenges and things. Like, where do you see that happening best? I love that you're going to provide men an outlet for that, because I think that is a greatly needed support system for men. And how do people find their people that they can lean in on and be vulnerable and humble and, kind of susceptible, I guess.
There's a couple of ways to do it. And I think groups like this is a great way to start. Look, I could relate to all three of you. And having sealed this friendship now, I can call any one of you up and say, hey, can I bounce this off of you?
Yeah.
Just don't bounce a check.
Oh, come on. That's what I do for fun.
Yeah.
This is New Jersey, man.
That's how we roll.
That's it.
It's cheaper than calling to find out if you have enough money in the account.
Exactly.
That's right. Exactly. I found when I went down to Pankey to study, I found a group of dentists, both my peers and my teachers, who had similar approaches to life than I did. Sometimes through continuing education, if you find the right place, you can do that. Study clubs again, you find the right study club with the right environment and a good leader, a good facilitator in the study club, that could be it. Community could come. There is the Dental Mental Network that our friend Sue Jeffries is running. That's an awesome place. And I have sent clients and colleagues in deep distress over there. There are all kinds of places, and say what you want about online and screens and Facebook and all that other stuff. But you know what? It's opened up huge worlds of opportunities. And Jen, I want to address community for just a moment. A very, very profound point here. And that is, when I started in dentistry is when so-called pro-competition legislation came about. And that, I believe, turned our base and ugly instincts outward and enabled us to establish this mentality that because Chad Duplantis has an office down the street from me, he's no good.
Yeah.
And he's my competitor, and I got to throw this guy under the bus or I'm not going to survive. There is that mindset out there in some members of our profession. And there is the mindset in other members of our online profession who will throw a barb at people who have slipped on a banana peel and went out there and brave enough to tell us about it. That's got to stop.
Yeah.
That's absolutely got to stop. And one of the things that I'm hell-bent on doing is getting rid of that and bringing a sense. You call me a nice guy of dentistry. I really appreciate that. But we really have to have a sense of community. We're all educated the same way. We're all trying to do different things under this big umbrella of dentistry. Whether you're a retail clinic or the highest end AACD practitioner, we're all under the same umbrella. And there's room for every single one of us. And you can do better just by, somebody just wrote on there, but just by being a little better tomorrow. Let's get that into our heads, for God's sake, now. Because the trite expression, united we stand, divided we fall. As friends, we prop each other up. As cutthroat competitors, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And then there's going to be another loser and another loser. We don't need that in our effort to take care of human beings who are lying down in a vulnerable position and trusting us with some real sensitive parts of their body. And by the way, we treat three sensitive parts of the body. You know what they are?
What?
The mouth, the psyche, and the wallet. And when we approach all three with empathy and love for the person on the other side of those tools,
yeah,
we got it.
What a great message.
Do you think that I think your message resonates extremely well. I'm curious how the compression of financial stress for the young guys and gals coming out with a tremendous amount of debt. And there's just a lot of unique pressures that I think I can say safely. We all had financial pressure coming out, but I don't think we had to that extent. And I would argue, I think it's the unfortunate scenario where they're actually getting less opportunities at the plate, right? But then they're also paying a lot more for the few opportunities that they're getting. So how do you manage? I think that they're set up for some pretty significant mental health issues, competitive drive. There's a lot of challenges, I think, that could start to kind of stem up.
Jen, that's awesome. And the answers are not easy, and some of them are easier said than done. But the principles are quite simplistic. Number one, live below your means. Mm-hmm. Just live below your means. I tried living above my means and the stressors were awful. Live below your means. You got a roof over your head, food on the table, much more than most people could ever have, but maybe less than what you think other people have. So live below your means. Get with a financial planner yesterday. Get with a good, solid CFP that you can trust. And by the way, if you think you picked the wrong one, then there's no problem switching. That happened to me. I had a financial planner take me into financial oblivion and put me a group of advisors, not only financial, but other advisors, put me 200 grand in debt with no increase in income to pay for it. So I had to make some changes. So number one, to the young dentist out there looking at intimidating debt, live below your means. Number two, I have seen guys work their way out of $300,000 of debt in a couple of years. I know young guys who have done that. It can be done, but I would not want to maintain that pace for decades. So if you got to do some pushing at the beginning of your career, go ahead, hustle. But while you're hustling, learn what you love to do and learn what you absolutely despise. Endo, learn what you don't like to do. So go ahead.
Jennifer, do you have a question?
I was agreeing with Endo. I agree with Endo all day, every day.
Yeah.
No, I think that's such a valid point, Alan. I think passion resonates, and it doesn't matter if it's sales or medicine or teaching. When someone is passionate about what they're doing, nothing else resonates the way that does, and nothing else to me communicates with other human beings the way that passion does. So find those things that you're passionate about and let that just come through naturally. You shouldn't have to think about what you're going to say. It should flow automatically because of what it is that you want to do, or what it is that you want to teach, or what it is that you want to talk about. And I think that that's such an important point.
You know, I heard a talk a couple of years ago at Speaking Consulting Network, a guy named Todd Williams, who is now a public relations guy for a major healthcare firm out in California. And, you know, being good is not good enough. We all do good dentistry. The missing ingredient here, and this is something I'm talking about a lot, the missing ingredient that's going to differentiate us from the race to the bottom is a nice little four-letter word: love. If you can approach all this technical crap that we've learned, all of this, 6.0 loops, focusing, microscope, on all of these great details that we got to do, but if we do it with love in our hearts for another human being, if that becomes our motivator, and I don't care, we could hate endo, we could love all on fours, whatever it is we want. But if we carry ourselves in our practices with a love of a human being, whether it's the person seeking our services, the people we work with, our partners, the custodian, the UPS guy, if we conduct ourselves with that outward love of another human being, how can you be miserable in dentistry?
Yeah, I think awesome words to close on, Alan. I honestly, I could talk to you all night. When I met you at the nachos thing, honestly, it was that was so far above what I even could have imagined. Just meeting all of these great people with big hearts and a lot of passion for what we're doing, and kudos to Paul and Dental Nachos for putting events like that together, and for bringing a lot of unity and really bringing a lot of the message that you talk about to the forefront. because really the rising tide does lift all boats. And it's amazing, none of us are in competition with each other. It's amazing watching all the good guys, and don't be ashamed of that. I mean, that's what makes you you. That's what makes you someone that all of us want to hang out with. That's what makes us want to listen to you. It makes us want to learn from you. That's the great part of dentistry, and that's what makes me want to stay in this, and I'm sure you as well. So I want to say thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time out of your evening to be with us, and we can't wait to have you on again. What a pleasure. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you. I told you before how I feel about that, and I just look forward to the day where we meet again in person in 3D and have a few of those drinks and hang out and have fun. Please join me at Better, Richer, Stronger, especially on November 6th. These issues are so important. And just
so anywhere else they can find you as well. I mean, I know you're always commenting as well on Dental Nachos, and anywhere else they can find you.
You could find me on Nachos. You could find me on Better, Richer, Stronger. I Love Dentistry, of course, here. I'll come in with a smart ass remark every now and then for you. And
love it. You know what? It wouldn't be Dinks if there wasn't a smart ass comment every now and then.
Well, I'll start it, man. And anybody, if you've got a question, Better, Richer, Stronger at Gmail. I'll answer anything. I'll spend time with anybody because it's what I want to do the rest of my life. Really, truly.
Alan, you're the best, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. It's nice to be here. Have a great evening. Hey, damn, it's past my bedtime.
Go take your melatonin. You can take it now. Thanks, Alan.
Have a great evening. Thank you so much. What a joy. Good night.
Such a dentist.
Hey, I didn't tell you guys this, but did you guys know that Alan has a brother that's in media as well?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he runs a show, and he does a show, and it's kind of weird. I've seen his show before. He's kind of a funny guy. Has a bunch of crazy people on his show, but anyways, I didn't know they were related, but they're brothers. So
are they really brothers?
No, they're not brothers. So
well, that was worth the price of admission.
Yeah. All right, Chad, I think you have an announcement.
Yeah, you want me to just close this out?
Yeah, close it out, buddy.
Okay, so it's been a interesting week in dentistry, and I think that we all need to have a moment of remembrance. I want to share two quick stories. First one that you all don't know about, but this past week, one of my colleagues passed away. A buddy of mine, Dr. Carlos Tello. Carlos was an instructor at Baylor College of Dentistry. He was a very good friend. He was a referral source. Referred a patient to his office last week and found out that he had passed away unexpectedly on Thursday. He had apparently had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And he worked until Monday afternoon and passed away on Thursday. So my heartfelt condolences out to Carlos, out to his family. He was an incredible clinician. He was by far, I wish everybody could have met him, because you talk about lighting up a room. This guy had a way of making people laugh, and I will never forget the first time I went to dinner with him. I don't think I had a dry face the whole night. I was crying. I was laughing so hard and my gut hurt. This guy was just the funniest guy in the world. So Godspeed, Carlos. Next one really hit me last night. Didn't expect to be saying this so soon. Colleague of many of ours, a good friend to many. And, there's nothing that ever is good that happens in unexpected tragedy. But we lost a close colleague, a great friend, a great mentor, a great teacher in Todd Ehrlich yesterday. Todd Ehrlich was unexpectedly killed in a motorcycle accident yesterday morning. Todd was a year ahead of me in dental school. Todd and I were friends. I'm honored to call him a friend. We served on the alumni board together, and he was the reason that I bought a CEREC. I said yesterday that he was on an unparalleled trajectory because he bought his CEREC. I bought mine about a week later. We talked about 2 weeks later, and he was already talking about teaching. He started doing veneers. He started doing crazy things with the CEREC. He teamed up with some of the best teachers in the world, and he became one of the best teachers in the world. Todd will be remembered by so many. Todd is loved by so many. If you haven't heard his name, I know you heard it 200 times today alone, because he is an amazing human being and did amazing things for dentistry. And I just want his family to know that what he did will continue to transcend in dentistry for many, many years to come. We all thank Todd for what he did. We feel horrible that we lost a colleague. I think the sentiments are real amongst all of us. And I'm going to close with this. Hug your loved ones. Hug anybody that you can, because each day is a precious gift and we never know when our last will be. So with that, I will go ahead and say goodnight, and I will close with our good friend Todd Ehrlich.